Hi friends, welcome to the second episode of Opera in a Minute. I'm Megan, and today we're going to be talking about Il Barbiere di Siviglia by Rossini, which premiered in Italy in 1816. There are 5 major characters in this opera. The first one is the Count Almaviva. He's a tenor, and he won't be for forever. Figaro, he's the barber of Seville. He's a handyman who sort of has his thumbs in everybody's pies. Rosina is the leading lady of the show. She is a mezzo-soprano who is sometimes played by sopranos, and she's very feisty and fun. Dr. Bartolo, who is trying his hardest to marry her. Next, we have his sidekick best friend, the music teacher, Don Basilio. The opera opens. The entire male chorus is hanging out on stage beneath Rosina's balcony. They're all musicians, and they're getting ready to help the Count serenade her, and they're super excited. They're having a good time. This is big money for them. Yay, everything's awesome. The Count sings, "Please come to the window, Rosina. Please, please, please come. I love you." Rosina does not. Male chorus exits. Figaro enters. This is the moment that everyone in opera everywhere has been waiting for. Figaro, 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 which is essentially just him talking about how dope he is all the time. Everyone loves me. They can't get married without me. I sell them wigs. I give them leeches. What a great time. He's a barber in the classical sense. And the Count is like, yes, 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 because they go way back. Figaro's like, dude, what are you doing here? It's so good to see you. And Count's like, shh, 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 shh. I don't want anybody to know I'm here. I'm going by this name Lindoro, even though that's not my name. Figaro's like, cool, that's fine. Whoa, I'll call you whatever you want me to call you. The Count catches him up on the whole I'm in love with Rosina situation. So Figaro tells the Count, good on you, because I'm everything to that house. I'm the botanist, I'm the vet, I bring them meat, I cut their hair, I do everything at that house. Just then, Rosina appears. With Dr. Bartolo, unfortunately. She's written a letter in advance for the Count, who she doesn't know is a Count. The letter basically says, hey, you seem cute, I'm very intrigued. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? What are your interests, hobbies, and passions? And what are your intentions? She drops the note. The Count and Figaro get it. Dr. Bartolo comes down to try and grab it. She's tricking me again. Rosina is always tricking him. So Figaro comes up with a plan. He tells the Count, you should pretend to be part of the regiment that's arriving today and say that you're going to be lodging in this house. They won't have any reason to refuse you, and then you'll get to be inside the house with Rosina. Also, you should pretend to be drunk, because nobody ever suspects a drunk dude because they're just falling all over themselves. The fact that that is the rationale is very indicative of what year it is. 1816. The Count agrees to the plan, Figaro exits, Count exits, and we open on a new scene with Rosina. Rosina's got her big I'm Rosina, welcome to my house moment, where she basically just shreds it for a little bit and we get to know her. She says, I'm a viper, look out everybody. And if the doctor thinks I'm gonna marry him, he's got another thing coming. After Rosina's aria, Figaro enters and they have a little bit of banter, and then he pieces out because Dr. Bartolo is showing up. Dr. Bartolo enters with his mean sidekick, Don Basilio, and together they discuss how they should deal with the fact that Count Almaviva has arrived in town, who Dr. Bartolo suspects is using someone to woo Rosina. He doesn't realize that it's actually the Count himself. Don Basilio suggests they just slander him by posting some really bad videos on Instagram, but Dr. Bartolo just says, no thank you, I really just want to marry her as quickly as possible, so why don't you go tell the notary to prepare all the documents and we'll just get this over with. Figaro enters with Rosina and reveals the plot that he's just overheard, that Dr. Bartolo wants to marry her as quickly as possible within 24 hours. Rosina gives him a letter to give to the Count, and they just have this really sweet scene where they're just like kind of best buds. It's very adorable and cute. Bartolo enters just as Figaro exits and gives her the third degree about why Figaro is even here. She comes up with great excuse after great excuse after great excuse. Dr. Bartolo gets really fed up with all the excuses though and declares that he's gonna keep her prisoner in his house. Gross. Finally, the scene we've all been waiting for, the Count enters dressed as a soldier who is very, very drunk. Dr. Bartolo, disinclined to allow him to lodge there, says that he has an exemption. And they get into a bit of an altercation. Rosina comes in, Figaro comes in, Don Basilio comes in. Everybody comes in. There is such a ruckus inside the house that the police are called in. The Count pulls aside the head officer and discreetly shows him his VIP badge, which is a badge that says, "Hi, I'm part of the Royal Court of Spain, so I get a free pass." And the officer says, "Okay." So he exits with his ragtag team of policemen and tells them all to just figure it out. Just figure it out and be quiet. End of act. Act 2. We open on Dr. Bartolo's house, and the Count has arrived in disguise as a sub-music teacher. He's subbing for Don Basilio, the evil mean sidekick, and he's calling himself in this disguise Don Alonso. This is where things are going to get confusing. There's too many names. It's going to get hard for a second. Dr. Bartolo is suspicious of him from the beginning because Don Basilio never has a sub. Mean people always show up. Always. The Count, as Don Alonso, the music sub, reveals to Dr. Bartolo that he has a letter from Rosina that he happened to come upon while staying at his hotel, and that he wants to use it to convince Rosina her lover has betrayed her. Bartolo agrees, and Rosina is invited in. Then we have a beautiful scene where Rosina sings lots of pretty notes. There's so many notes, and they're so beautiful. The whole time, Rosina and the Count are drawn together like two magnets, like they have some sort of gravitational force that is just pulling them together, and every time they get close, Dr. Bartolo just shoves his way in. While the music lesson is happening, Figaro arrives to give Dr. Bartolo his shave. And there's a lot of really funny stuff. There's explosions, things break, people blow shaving cream in people's eyes. Out of control. The Count tells Rosina that he's gonna pick her up tonight, and they're gonna go off and get married and live happily ever after, and to expect him and Figaro at midnight. Then Don Basilio shows up, and everyone loses their minds. The Count tells the doctor, "We need to get Don Basilio out of here before he ruins everything with regards to me and this letter and Rosina." Dr. Bartolo agrees. Figaro and Rosina obviously want him out of there. So everyone just piles on and tells Basilio how ill he looks. And he's like, "Okay, I get it. Whoa, I look like death. Fine." And so he leaves. It's really weird. Later, Don Basilio tells Dr. Bartolo that he didn't actually know Don Alonso and that he wasn't a sub-music teacher for him. And Dr. Bartolo realizes that he was tricked again. He tells Basilio, "Go get the notary papers ready. I'm marrying her tonight. I'm over it." Basilio's like, "I got you, dude. I'll be back with a notary. We'll make it work." Classic sidekick. Bartolo calls Rosina down and reveals that he has the letter the Count gave him as Don Alonso, and says that they plan to give her up to the vile, evil Count Almaviva, and that Lindoro doesn't really love her at all. She is really upset by this, obviously, so she agrees to marry him that night. Then there's a big storm. It's beautiful music. There's rain, there's thunder, there's lightning, there's probably a set change. New scene. It's nighttime. Figaro and the Count enter, ready for the elopement, and they encounter Rosina, and she is mad. She confronts Lindoro about deceiving her and giving her a letter away. The Count reveals that he is the Count, and he loves her and wants to marry her. They have a beautiful connection. Meanwhile, Figaro is in the background, brushing his shoulders off, taking all the credit for this beautiful, lovely night, and encouraging them to hurry, let's go, let's sneak out, let's sneak out. Don Basilio enters with the notary. But because they were already planning for the elopement, the notary happens to have the legal papers for the Count Almaviva and Rosina in his file. Rosina and the Count get married right there. Figaro witnesses, and the Count tells Don Basilio he can either be a witness and take a ring that has a beautiful jewel on it, or he can take 2 bullets in the head. So Don Basilio says, "Where do I sign?" Then Dr. Bartolo enters and accuses the Count of being a thief. It's revealed that he is actually the Count Almaviva, #VIP pass, and that Rosina is his wife. Dr. Bartolo admits his defeat, and Rosina and the Count celebrate their marriage and their love, and there's a beautiful finale. Thank you for joining us. This has been Opera in a Minute with Megan. I'll see you next time.